Now let us move ahead with the concept of inertia that we already had discussed in the previous video, where we talked about Richard Feynman, who was a person who actually observed this thing happening, fine. And then it comes along with your Newton's first law also. First, let us know what exactly is inertia. Now, inertia is inherent tendency of any of the object to oppose any change. Again, this is a very important thing that you have to remember, that inertia is an inherent, inbuilt tendency. This tendency is present within the body, wherein the body tries to oppose any kind of change in itself. Now suppose there are two people standing in front of you, and one is smaller in size, the other one is bigger in size. Or you take two vehicles, one is this is car and this is truck. Now if you want to push both of these objects, if you want both of these objects to come into motion, and you're applying equal type of force, equal amount of force on both of it, what will happen? Which vehicle will you be able to move? Obviously car as compared to the truck. Now why truck was not able to move by you? What is the reason behind it? The reason is actually the inherent tendency. Now all of the object has this tendency to oppose any kind of change. Truck did not want to change its position, and this tendency is known as inertia. Now if we talk about in numeric terms, or if we want to know that on what factor inertia depends, inertia is directly proportional to the mass of the object. More the mass, more will be the inertia. So that is the reason, if we compare these two objects, car ka mass was lesser as compared to the truck, so truck's tendency to oppose the change was more as compared to that of the car. I hope it is clear to you. So if somebody asks you what is inertia, inertia is the inherent tendency of any of the object. It is you and me also, okay? If we are standing, if you as a student of 9th standard is standing, and I am standing along with you, and somebody with equal forces trying to push one of the person and me, so it will be easier to push you all. Why? Because your mass is lesser as compared to mine. So my inertia is greater than yours. Your inertia is lesser than mine, okay? So it is inherent tendency to oppose any change, and inertia is directly proportional to mass. Very, very important concept. Now let us see something interesting about inertia, because see what happens, we all experience these things in our daily life. We all are going through inertia. We all see it in our daily life. We are experiencing it, but we don't know it, okay? We don't recognize these things. We don't observe these things so minutely. So now we are going to talk about inertia, and from here you all will understand that you are experiencing these inertias in your daily life every now and then, fine? So first let's talk about three types of inertia. Inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. So there are basically three types of inertia: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. Now what is the meaning of this thing? Inertia is what? Tendency to oppose the change. So oppose rest, oppose motion, and oppose direction. Fine. Now see what is the meaning of this thing? Inertia of rest is tendency of any object to oppose change in its rest position. If somebody is at rest, it will remain at rest. It will try to oppose any kind of change in its state of rest. Now change in its state of motion. Oppose, okay? This you have to remember, because inertia is opposing. Oppose any change in the state of its motion, and again oppose any change in its direction. Now what does it mean? If suppose you have any of the object, let's say this is the object, you have any object. If the object is at rest and you want to change its state of rest, you want this object to move, okay? So which inertia we are talking about? Inertia of rest. if an object is in motion, it is moving ahead and you want to stop it, okay, so there will be some inherent tendency of this object because of the mass, because of which it will be difficult for you to stop the object, inertia of motion. And similarly, if any of the object is moving in a particular direction and you are trying to change that, that will give you inertia of direction. So if you are trying to change rest, motion and direction, so we are going to talk about these three inertias of rest, motion and direction in detail, how it is applicable in our daily life. Okay, so we'll start with the first one, inertia of rest. So let's see what exactly is inertia of rest. I am giving you a first very common example from your textbook first, and then we'll move ahead towards the different examples. Now suppose you have a tumbler, and on top of tumbler what you have done, you have kept a cardboard. This activity is given in your textbook. It's there in your textbook. You can go through it, okay? And you have to go through it actually. This is the cardboard which is kept on top of the tumbler, and there is a coin on top of it. Okay, so this is a coin. Now how it is going to work? Initially, when I have made this setup, you can experience it at home also. You might be having these three very common things. You can take a glass, you can take a cardboard and a coin, any coin, okay? So if you have this setup, initially everything is at rest. All the things are at rest, whether it was cardboard, coin or tumbler, everything is at rest, okay? Now the second thing that you have to do, you have to give this cardboard a jerk. You have to simply give it a jerk. Now the moment you will give jerk to the cardboard, what you will observe that the cardboard will move ahead. Cardboard will move ahead. This is the cardboard which is moving ahead, but the coin will come down into the tumbler. Okay, now this is actually the inertia of rest. Now what has happened? The coin initially was at rest, cardboard was at rest, tumbler is at rest. Now what you have done, you have given a jerk to the cardboard, cardboard moved ahead, but this coin still tries to remain at rest because of inertia of rest. Okay, still tries to remain at rest. It stayed there at its position. As a result, what happened? It came down into the tumbler because the support which was there, the cardboard which was there, is moved ahead. I hope you all have understood the concept of inertia. Let's discuss few more examples of it. Okay. Now, for another example, a very important one, when shaken, the branch of a tree or the branches of the tree, leaves fall down. Leaves fall down. Okay. Now here what you have done, if this is a tree that you have and the branches you are shaking, initially tree, branch, leaves, everything is at rest. Okay. All the objects, all the things linked with the tree is at rest. Afterwards, what you have done, you started moving the branches of the trees. Branches came into motion. But the leaves which were initially at rest still tries to remain at rest because of the inertia of rest, and finally what happens? Because of which they get detached and comes down. Okay, so this is the way you have to explain these conceptual questions. When you shake the branch of a tree, earlier as the branch, the leaves, the tree were all at rest, but the moment you started moving it, the branch comes into motion, but the leaves of the tree still tries to remain at rest, because of which they get a jerk and they get detached from the branches. Okay, another a very important example. One more example we'll do, and then I'll give you questions related to that. Okay, so another example is, suppose you're sitting in a bus at rest. Okay, so this is a bus which is at rest and you are sitting over here. Now what happens, the moment bus comes into motion, all of a sudden when the bus will start, what will happen? You will experience a force in the backward direction. Okay, now see how it happens. Again, how you have to explain these kind of questions. When the bus, everything is at rest. Okay, now there is no motion in this case, but the moment bus starts, the lower part of the body which is in direct contact of the bus or any of the vehicle in which you are sitting, also comes into motion because it's in direct contact, okay, and you are sitting from this part of yours. Here this is a seat and this is you are sitting, okay. So the lower part, your legs, which is in direct contact with the bus, also comes into the motion, but the upper part of your body tries to remain at rest, because of which it gets a jerk in the backward direction. Now again, why? Because of the inertia of rest. I hope this inertia of rest is clear to you all, okay. So you will be getting certain conceptual questions. The important thing for you all to understand is, if you are explaining any of such question, if the questions come like this, please remember, you explain everything over there, that the lower part was in contact with the bus, upper part was not in contact, it gets a jerk. But you there, please don't forget to mention that this happens because of inertia of rest. Now suppose you have written everything, all the explanation you have given, but you forget to mention inertia of rest, you are going to lose your marks. Thank you, bacha.